Yo, what's up, party people? So, I'm gonna go over NASDAQ and a couple trades that I took today and the reason for them. I'm gonna start off here on TradingView to go over what I was looking at, why my bias was the way it was, how that changed depending on what price action did today, etc., etc. So, on just looking at a 30-minute for the past week or so. Well, generally, I guess on a higher time frame, basically, we've ever since this massive impulse up, we've just been doing a lot of corrective behavior, a lot of three-wave moves up and down, a lot of taking the lows and taking the highs and taking the lows and taking the highs, a lot of that kind of seek and destroy type of price action, and I actually love it. I love it. So we had this range here. We ended up taking the lows of it, put in a good low, and we ended up breaking some market structure. We had a few three-wave moves down here, possibly, maybe you could call it a WXY for EW. If I pull fibs, if I pull corrective fibs like this, 333, the 3824 from a pull like this off of what would be the A or the W, that would give some corrective targets for the C or the Y. In this case, they look like three-wave moves to me, so I would call it a WXY. So it pivoted from a good place on a higher time frame. That was back a few days ago. And then if I do a scalp pull from here, let me take off the corrective one for a second. If I do a scalp pull from the high to this low here, perfect reaction from the 3-4, respect on the 5-4, 3-8-2 kickback levels, and then again, really nice reaction from the 8-3-2 there. Again, with confluence. So I had marked out these areas here based on both of these pulls. I had marked out these areas here. This wasn't today, but I'm just, in order to be confident in a bias that I would have today, I would also have to be confident in the bias that I have on a higher time frame. And that means, do I like the current higher time frame low of the week. That's what that would mean. So I marked out these two areas of interest. This area, price went straight through, did not give a reaction. This one did give a reaction. If you're looking to trade that, there would have been no reason to knife catch that. But you can see as price had a strong reaction from here, it retraced back into the first area here. And unfortunately, this happened overnight, so I wasn't able to catch this. But it gave one last retrace right before it opened, so it would have been still possible to catch that. But yeah, that would have been a good retrace to have more of a day trade swing kind of idea from, and it led to some pretty big moves. So basically, long story short, I was happy with a higher time frame low here, and that means that price can go up. So now I got to figure out, was this high good enough? Is that all it wanted, or did it want more? So there was a pull here. If I'm just looking at the past 5 days, yeah, this pull here I've been looking at for the past couple of days. Let me switch that to scalp. From this low up to this high here. Why do I like this pull? It gave perfect respect for the 382 on the way up. It gave really nice respect on the 3.4, and it respected the 706 as well. And you can see this candle here, this 30-minute candle here, was the NFP news at 8:30. It went straight. It went right down to the 382 again, and back tested it perfectly. So I wasn't trading this low because it just wasn't. I'm just always waiting for New York Open unless something's screaming out to me. And there's plenty of moves, even missing this. There's plenty of moves to make to be able to get on, even if you miss a move like that. This move did not offer any retraces. It didn't offer much of a retrace. It didn't even come. So it came 50% of the whole candle basically, but that's it. So you can see it came 50 to the 5.4, and that leads me to the next this next pull that I'll be using for my bias here. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this strong reaction on a well-respected pull that still potentially had higher levels. It could have been done at the 706, but it potentially had higher levels coming up to the 1 here, which it did, and it reacted beautifully from that as well. But that's if we are thinking about starting the day here and starting the morning, then we don't know what's going to happen here yet. But essentially, I'm happy with this low here, and I'm going to pull away these. None of these matter anymore, because basically after a reaction from the kickback, I wouldn't be interested in that 706 again. I'd be interested in the 832 or the 1. So I'll get rid of that noise, and then I'm gonna pull another scalp fib pull here from, and this is the 5-minute candle. That's the NFP news. That's it. Super easy, nothing fancy about it. And as you can see, beautiful, perfect reaction from the 5.4 kickback here. And that would lead me to really liking this pull for the higher levels. And if my bias is going to be to come up to the 832 or to the -1 of the higher time frame pull, this one, then I'm going to use a lower time frame pull to also give me bias, which was this one. It's giving me what I want to see. It's giving me nice respect here. Would have been even prettier if this reaction here came off the 3.4 instead, but you don't always get everything perfect. This was good enough. And taking a scalp pull from a big news candle with like 2 strong wicks to the downside, upside, that's a really nice way to do them. It could have done the opposite as well. Like I could just reverse it, and price could have, instead of coming up above here, price could have just came up here, back tested the 5.4 here perfectly, and then came down. Right? Could have done something just like that as well. But since we moved above it, I didn't need to think about it that way. It's just a way to be prepared for any scenario while it's happening. So anyway, okay, so I boxed out the 832 and the -1 of the higher time frame pull, and that matches up with getting above the 706 up to the -1 of the lower time frame pull here. And yeah, basically I would just basically the bias, once New York opened and market structure was continuing to break bullishly. So it did not break bullishly here yet. I did not catch this low here because I was looking for a deeper retrace. I didn't, while this is a nice pull and I like it, it wasn't enough for me to like this, because at the moment it had not broken this market structure here. It didn't take that high yet, so I didn't feel as good about it, and I didn't take that, so I missed this one. That's totally fine. So as you'll see when I go over the live replay, there was a trade I took. I actually don't even think I took it until up here. It just wasn't, there was not a short to look for because I was waiting for higher. I hadn't taken a trade yet for the day, and there was a certain point where price was just going up and up and up, and it wasn't taking any low time frame market structure, like say on the 1 minute. I mean, I used the range XV, so it was even like less than 1 minute, but all of the higher lows were getting protected every single time, and I was still expecting a little bit higher, so I longed somewhere up here, just looking for that higher move, and it may have even been here, because this 832 level was front run, and I was expecting it to come up and hit it again, and then it ended up coming to these ones, and that's fine. And then as you'll see from the recording that I'll go over, I was really waiting for a setup right up here, and I was just waiting for something really specific to be safe, and I did end up missing it, unfortunately. It looks pretty obvious in hindsight. Obviously, I was just it was a little bit of a shame, because I was waiting for it for quite some time, and I just wanted this to come up a little bit higher and backtest that -1 again, and it didn't, and it just didn't give me what I wanted, and then it moved down pretty fast. So but I was fine with it. You know, I'd still had one winning trade of the day, which was, I think, just longing this up here, and then I did, so I missed. It was a shame to miss this because I had planned for it, and it just didn't give me exactly what I wanted. So I wanted to be, I just wanted to be safe, and only take trades that are giving me everything that I want. So I did miss this, but then I caught this move up here, which I'll show as well. Yeah, I think it was this. So I got this retrace here for a move up here. I didn't know it would come all the way up here, but and the reason. So I took a $10 profit here. Well, I took a $10 profit here because I recognized I was long basically the top, or what could be the top, and then I took the $10 profit here as well, because this high here was a level that hit this higher time frame -1, and this higher time frame, or this time the NFP news -1. So because the strong reaction came off that higher time frame level for me, I didn't necessarily expect it to come all the way back up to it. So that's why I didn't hold it for a bigger move. Plus, I'm a scalper anyway, and it's I'm totally fine with that, because yeah, 2 $10 moves, you can make your money for the day and be done. Should have been 3, I think, with the planning I made for this one. But I'll go over that, and I can kind of go over a little bit, and I'll show in the replay what what I could have been thinking about, even though it's hindsight, what I could have been thinking about to catch this. So yeah, without further ado, I'll go ahead and switch screens here. Just give me one moment here. All right, yeah, that's good. So this is my task screen, and let me just, I'll throw on, sorry, I wanted to throw on my camera here again, so it feels a little bit more interactive. Where is it? Oh, here. Okay. Alright, now I gotta make it little. Should have done this beforehand, but alright, let me stick myself back up here again. Cool. Alright, I'll go ahead and play here. So all of this is at 1x speed. Again, you'll be able to see the same polls that I showed in TradingView. This is the NFP News scalp poll with the reaction from the 5-4, and then coming out to, originally I had this box level marked out because it was also the IB, the 5-minute IB -2, which matched up with the 832 from this poll and the 832 from this poll, and then also the 3-4 of this poll here, which I didn't show on TradingView, but I had 3 or 4 levels of confluence here, so I had bias to at least hitting this, and then I was first going to look for potential short setup here, and then this is where I was saying price was just grinding and channeling up. My entry was basically, the trade idea is just longing because that's the trend, and every low is holding, every single low is holding so far. Now it comes to retrace this order block here on range XV that's holding it up again, and since my first set of targets have not hit yet, then my assumption is that price is just going to continue to trend in the way it has been, which is keeping the market structure intact. It's going to keep doing that until it at least hits my target here. So that's why I longed. The other thing that it is, I waited. I didn't just blind long, but I waited to see. I waited for it to come down, do a little ABC move down, like this ABC move down here, and then I waited for a couple green candles in a row, and then I market bought in there, and then my stop loss is getting put right under this order block that was holding up. These two lows here. So pretty simple here. You'll see, again, this is just 1x speed, normal speed. You'll see that I am clicking my take profit to, and kind of potentially, I'm basically preparing for a scenario where things, the market structure starts to break down and it starts to not look as good anymore, in which case I would want to, I would want to try and get out break even instead of taking a loss. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just preparing to be quick if I need to get out of this trade, if it starts to look bearish, which it didn't do. I was ready for it, but it was totally fine. Like this kind of price action here, it did take this low, but that would just be like an expanding flat, right? And then the $10 move hit with one contract. That's $200. Again, I have no idea why ATAS started doing. Basically, it's counting my. If you saw the number on there, it's counting it as ticks instead of dollars, and I don't know why it changed and started doing that, but I can't figure out any way to change it. So that's why it showed like 33 or something, something like that. But that was. Oh yeah, up to 40, because 40, or 30? I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's ticks, but a $10 move is $200 with one mini contract. So that is, yeah, that's what I'm shooting for with these moves. So I got one $200 trade, cool. So here it ended up front running my level. I was going to look for a short setup, but it front ran it, which I trust my fibs especially on pulls that have been respected really well already. This pull is really well respected. This pull is really well respected. It front ran the -2 IB level by a little bit too. So there's a lot. Like, even though it broke down here, and there was nothing here for me to want to short, because there was no market structure shift or anything. Now there is. Now it's starting to break down, but it's starting to break down from front running my level, and so I don't necessarily trust that. And I'm gonna show here with I'm gonna draw it here in a second from what I was looking at live. Let me just fast forward. Okay, here it is. So if you get if I see a reaction from from actually hitting a level of interest that's this aggressive without any retrace on a low time frame, then then you break market structure on the way down, then shorting like a breaker like this would generally be the setup for another leg down. But because it front ran my levels, I don't actually trust this as being a real move down. And then even though some market structure broke here, like these lows got taken, because this overall low didn't get taken, I was just seeing this is a fake dump, and then really the higher market structure didn't break. So this is a situation where I just wasn't. In a different scenario, I would have been interested in shorting this, and I was thinking about it. I almost did it a couple different times. Like my finger was on the sell button, but I didn't end up doing it, and I'm glad I did, because it went past the level, and then yeah, it would have been a loss. So that was good. It was good for me to trust that it was a fake dump because it front ran my actual level of interest. So now price is hitting my actual level of interest here, but I'm not going to blind short. What I'm going to do is wait for something on the low, on this range XV on the low time frame here, to start to show me some bearishness, and that price is breaking down. So far, the low is holding here. This low held on this, so there was no reason for me to get excited. If this low had gotten taken, then I might have been interested in looking for a retrace for a short, but it did not happen. So I am saving my money. Even though I did box out that area, I was interested in it, but I didn't get what I wanted to see on a lower time frame. So I am just looking for the next level of interest for a potential short, which is the one that I talked about that I ended up missing. But let me fast forward a bit here. Okay, so you can see even before it actually happens, I'm drawing out with these little arrows the exact scenario that I want to see. What I'm thinking here is one, so there's a perfect reaction right now from this -1, this 100, -1, -100, whatever, from the NFP 5-minute candle pull here. There's it, and also perfectly on the -100 of this higher time frame pull from a couple days ago. But I don't like perfect reactions, because to me a perfect reaction just means that not all the positions, because for me these fib levels are take profits. For me, that's the way I think about it logically, is that they are take profit levels from lower. So if the take profit level, if the take profits are set at right on the level of the -100, then a perfect reaction to me means that it got stuck trying to fill all the orders, but not all the orders were able to get filled. So that's why I don't trust perfect reactions. And what I really want to see is a breakdown of market structure. As I wrote down here, I want to see this low get taken, and then come up, take the high of this to tell me that all that the positions have actually been filled, and then come back lower and back test it again, and then that's where I would enter to get a leg down. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So it takes a while, well, a long time for a scalper to play out, right? So you can see it gave me the first part of what I wanted to see here. It took this low, so now it's starting to break market structure a little bit. That is the first thing on my checklist that that is checked off. You can see I drew again exactly what I want to see, and this one is even more specific. It's even more specific, and it would be giving me an even lower time frame version of the same exact thing, where we get maybe another perfect reaction, and then it comes and it takes a high, but then it breaks down to break the market structure of this low here, and then it comes back up to backtest it one more time and then come down. That would be, yeah, that's the ideal perfect trade setup for me. And you can see it started to do it. It's doing exactly what I wanted, exactly how I drew it. Another kind of more or less perfect tap, come up and take the high. And now I'm waiting for this low to get taken here, and then for it to come back up one more time. So now it gave me one more thing checked off, and now I'm just waiting for some kind of retrace. And unfortunately, and you can see how I drew this here afterward. Again, I drew what I would have wanted to see, and I didn't get it. So I missed this leg down, even though I planned so much of it. But you know what? The reason I wait for that perfect setup is because when I get that perfect setup, it ends up being the highest probability trade. And you know, if I miss it because I didn't take it, even though it was almost exactly what I was looking for, then so be it. You know, it was lower probability because it didn't do exactly what I wanted. So if I miss it, that's fine. It would have played out this time around, but another time around, if it didn't give me exactly what I wanted, maybe it wouldn't have played out. And so, you know, it's just a probabilities thing. And then here, this is what I'm a little bit disappointed with myself, because it did break all of this market structure on the way down here, and then it retraced into this breaker here, and I think I wanted it to pop up to like the 0.5 of that. That's what I was waiting for, but it just kept getting held here, and yeah, it is what it is. There was one last argument for, now that it broke this little set of lows here, think it does it here in a minute. Like there, that would have been, okay, now like maybe I could have gotten in there, and then the setup would have been like, okay, the breaker held, and then I would have had a stop above here. But it is what it is. I missed it. You know, planned for it, and it ended up getting a really big move down here. But that's fine. I still had that one winning trade, and I missed that. It happens. Didn't give me exactly what I wanted, so I can't be too hard on myself. It did retrace to the breaker after breaking market structure, so I could have made a case for me entering it. But yeah, it's fine. Just move on. And moving on now, I have a scalp pull on the, if you look on the 1 minute here, also on the 5 minute, from the high down to this pivot low, which you can also see on the 5 minute here on the top right. So came down, perfect reaction from that 832. And although a lot of times I don't, you know, I talked all this stuff about not trusting perfect reactions. If you have the reaction and now you're starting to break market structure to reverse, that's when you start to think that pivot could actually be in. And now we're doing exactly that, as you can see with my arrows, where we have broken the local market structure on this move up. I'm also using a local pull here to give me a little bit of bias for the retrace. So we hit, I wish I would have hidden this earlier. I do end up hiding it at some point, but it makes it kind of messy to see on the 1 minute. I guess we'll just look at the 5 minute here on the top right. So it hit I'm gonna call this higher time frame because it's all relative. It hit a higher time frame level for me, this 832 from this 5 minute pull. And now I'm gonna make sure that sinks in with a break of structure, which it did that. And now that it also matches up with a lower time frame pull as well, which is the pull here, reaction from 3-4, and then I'm basically interested in getting involved in the kickback area for a move up, another leg up, up to this like -1 or so of this local pull. So just waiting here. Hits the 382 of the kickback. I want it to come down in the 5-4. I wanted it to come down to the right then. It didn't do it. It printed 2 candles. It printed 2 candles up. And if this is corrective, this could do, you know, this could be ABC down, or, you know, whatever, a three-way move down. So because there was enough for me to think that move could be done. I am moving my stop here below this low, this pivot low here, which would also invalidate the idea of this kickback holding. So my idea, yeah, that this low here is basically my invalidation for a long here. I'm doing kind of the same thing I did earlier, where I'm like contemplating the strength and what's going on and everything to see if I want to get out, break even, and all that. I was trying to. I didn't want that 5-4 to get taken like that, but it did a little bit, a couple bucks. The reaction coming back up from it was pretty strong, and then this market structure here from this middle set of lows here, that got taken by this move up. So I started to feel a lot better about it. I was pretty nervous when it was getting past the 5-4 here, but that's why I was stop loss anyway. So yep, we broke the market structure of this, so I'm feeling a lot better about it now, even though it's slightly under my entry. And just looking for another $10 move here. reason, again, like I explained earlier, the reason I wasn't this ended up being another huge move back up, all the way up to the high again. But because it hit these higher time frame levels, the negative 100 of this pull and this pull, I didn't expect it to come all the way back up to that negative 100. Or it's not that I didn't expect it, it's just that I guess there was no reason for me to think it would make it back up that high. Not enough reason for me to not want to take the money when I have it. So all right, it's coming up. I'm just kind of thinking about whatever. It didn't have to think too hard. It wound up hitting my $10 profit, so that's cool. The reason that I was I clicked and held onto it for a little bit to see if I wanted to take it a little bit early was because it had come up to this 706.832 level of the local pull, and the another backtest of this. What was this? Oh, this IB -1 area. So it could have got stuck here. So I was just prepared. I was prepared for a situation where it got stuck a little bit there, and if it broke down aggressively, then maybe I would have just taken it off. But it went to target. So yeah, that is, I believe that's it. Yeah, just showed here. That did end up being the low. The other thing that I had noticed here for feeling good about the long, let's rewind back here. On the 1 minute on the bottom left here, we're forming a nice little 3 candle swing low. Right? So we had the 178 of this pull, this one here, and then again the 832 of this pull, and then the kickback of the local pull. So several different time frames of levels. Nice retrace after a very bullish morning move. So there was enough reason to think that price could come up. That bias could still be up, or at least for a good retrace, since the aggressive move down didn't really offer much of any retraces. So yeah, I think I'll call it at that. Kind of went over. There were 2 winning trades. Should have been 3. I explained what maybe I could have done to catch the one that I would argue would have been the best trade. The one I planned more for. The one I ended up missing, but it's okay because it happens to all of us, and at the end of the day, I was trying to be safe to preserve my capital and look for and only take the exact setup with everything that I wanted, and it didn't give me the exact thing, and I can't be mad at myself for missing the one that didn't give me everything that I was looking for. So but still 2-0, 2 successful scalps, even with just 1 mini contract. That ends up being $400. So if you use 2, could have been $800. Obviously can just increase that for depending on how big your account size is and how much you're willing to risk. And yeah, can do trading view here. We can see what we've kind of done since the stream started. We ended up filling this whole FVG from the 10 o'clock news, which was consumer sentiment. So we filled all of that FVG, had a really nice reaction back up. So yeah, it's Friday afternoon. In my opinion, based on trading NASDAQ and S&P futures for the last 2 years, Friday afternoon is the worst session of the week to trade. It's the one that tricks you out the most and ends up just not really being worth it unless something just extremely like screams out to you. So I would say if you're still watching, enjoy your weekend. I would say get off the charts, give your brain some rest, don't get burnt out, and yeah, probably just call it because price hit a lot of nice higher time frame levels here for that current high, and of course it could continue to go higher. Of course you could argue if you just look at the past couple of days that everything looks really bullish, but at the same time the overall price action for the last 3 weeks has just been three-way moves up and down, and now we came to a nice area back up almost to the top of the range again. If we're counting everything in three-way moves, then you could argue that this could be the top. So even though things look really bullish, it could be the top, and I would say there's no reason to have any more of a bias for anything. I'm pretty neutral at the moment. Just seeing what I'm seeing right now, yeah, I'm pretty neutral. We hit the negative 100 of the big NFP news, and so there's not necessarily any big reason to continue to push up higher. Of course it can happen, but for me it's not worth, because we hit the negative 100 of this already. It's just not worth for me to there's no reason for me to think that price needs to go higher, because I just look at this as the goal of the move for everyone that invested in this 5-minute candle or the big NFP news where there's a huge liquidity injection and all of that. If the goal of that is to get to the negative 100, it hit that. So not necessarily any reason for me to think it needs to go higher. It definitely could, but there's also, things look pretty bullish for the last few days at least. So that can also continue. And go up. So there's also not really a big reason for me to feel like the level that we're at right here per se would be a good level to short for lower. So I'm pretty neutral, given that it's Friday afternoon and everything else that I talked about. We hit good levels to the upside. We could continue up, but it's Friday afternoon, so I don't think anything is worth it having hit the targets. And that's why I would say my bias is completely neutral at the moment, just looking at this on like a 5-minute, and I don't think anything is really worth risking, because if I'm going to take a trade, then I don't want to have a neutral bias. I want to have some kind of bias. If I don't have a bias, then I don't have, it's not, it doesn't make sense for me to trade without a bias. I mean, really locally here, like I'd be using this pull on the 5-minute, this scalp pull here. It created a 5-minute FVG, multiple 5-minute FVGs, filling this FVG, which created another FVG. So, we came off the 706 here. There could potentially be a setup that comes back down to this kickback area and then makes another move up to at least this -1. I will not be trading that because I don't trade Friday afternoons, but that would be the only like higher probability setup that I would say. We did break market structure on the way up. We took this high, we took this high, we took both of those highs. So you could say, more locally speaking, there could be a reason to have a bullish bias. This move up here created an FVG. This one created a 5-minute FVG up. This one created one up. When this filled that FVG, it created another 5-minute FVG. So you could argue bias. Could still be up. I wouldn't long right here like I did this morning where I did that. I wouldn't do that right here. Just like literally not even close to enough reason for me to do that. The only setup I would take would be this one right here, and I would want it to drop right now, and the more aggressively it dropped, the better. I would want it to drop right now and be a really steep, quick drop. That would be ideal. And then you would look for something on the 1 minute. This is purely speculative. I'm just saying what I would look for. The most ideal setup for me would be something like this. And then I would long this. Hold on. Sorry. Yeah, this is the only like nice. If it gave me like everything I'd be looking for here, that could potentially be a setup. I'd want it to form a little bit of market structure on the way down, and then I'd want this to break this, like that. I'd want this to break this, and then back test that, like this kickback one more time, and then that could 23. So you could easily get a 10, 15, $20 move up there and then be done with a day. It could potentially come all the way up here if you want to trail your stop or something like that. That would be the only setup I'd look for the rest of the day. I personally won't look for it. I'm going to get off the computer and touch some grass. I got really burnt out recently without really realizing it. And the only thing that I can do to prevent that from happening again is to actually make changes and not stare at a screen for 12 hours a day every day, 6-7 days a week. So I'm trying to actually implement those changes and not look at charts for more than like 4 hours a day. Also, it's Friday afternoon, and it's been a big rule of mine for a very long time to not trade Friday afternoon because of a couple times it burned me because it didn't do what I was expecting it to do. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. I made this public, so yeah, if you have any questions, wait, actually let me check YouTube, see if there's questions. Okay, what is your bias at this point? I think I answered that, and I think I answered the bias as of this point. Yeah, 15-minute FVG. Personally, I'm not looking at 15-minute FVGs. I really like 30-minute and 5-minute. I like 30-minute because it's more of a TPO thing, because the New York Open starts on the 30-minute. That's why I really like, because it starts at 9:30. I really like the 30-minute, and I just don't have room. I like my 4 charts that you saw on the recording with the 30, the 5, the 1, and then my XV, which shows more like reversal signal kind of candles. That I don't look at the 15 as much, but that doesn't mean that it's not totally valid. Like on a 15, yeah, like this little 15-minute. It is a little baby one, I guess. I don't know if that's the one you were talking about, but yeah. And yeah, hopefully doesn't seem like there's any more questions. But yeah, I'm on Discord with my Discord name Cypher or Kip. If you have any questions, message me in public chat or in boardroom if you're already a member. If you're not a member, you can consider joining. I'm sure Long It for Bong It might give us another maybe like a New Year's promo or something like that if you're not a member yet. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy your weekend, and adios. See you next week. Bye.